the problem I have. My eyelashes with mascara on are too long
For your glasses.
for my glasses to be pushed up right to my eyes.
What a horrible problem to have.
I know, but they're not nice and full. They're like spidery. They're like
Wispy.
long and gangly things.
Not tall, gangly things. It's officially been a year since we moved into the flat.
You mean the penthouse?
Yes, sorry, the penthouse.
We kind of thought it was about time to share our journey.
What it's really like living with your sister.
Navigating life in your 20s.
And all of our views in between.
Our views from the penthouse. Welcome back to the penthouse.
Back to the penthouse.
House de la Pent.
Casa de la Pent. I wonder what penthouse is in Spanish. We've had this conversation before. Am I having just like deja vu? I feel like we've had that conversation before.
We haven't. I don't think we have.
I keep having the weirdest, like most vivid dreams every night, and I have like 4 or 5.
Attico.
Attico. That's so boring.
With the
yeah.
accent on it. Hang on.
Attico.
Oh.
Attico.
Attico.
Casa de Attico.
No, Amy. Penthouse is Attico.
Oh, sorry.
So it's just Attico.
Sorry, I was getting very confused then. I thought I was saying House of the Pent.
Desde el Attico.
Desde el
From the
Attico.
penthouse. That's from the penthouse.
Oh, I quite like it.
Should we just switch it up and do this episode in Spanish?
Hola, buenas noches, ¿qué tal? Ay, Dios mío.
Can you imagine if we just did that? How fun.
Be a lot. It would take a lot of brain power.
I want to get back into my Spanish. So I saw this TikTok, surprise, surprise, and it was like, if you just watch your favorite TV shows, it's either in a different language and have English subtitles, or watch it in English and have another language subtitles.
I think watch it in Spanish and have English subtitles, so you're hearing the Spanish words. So when they're like, desde al Attico. What was it?
Yeah, that.
Yeah. When they're like saying that, you'll see at the bottom it will say penthouse, and you'll be like, because mentally I do it still when I watch shows. Like, what was the show? A show like at the beginning they speak in Spanish, like, you know, the Mexican cartel, like they always speak in Spanish. I find myself when I'm watching shows like that in Spanish re-saying the word in my head loads of times when I like look at the subtitle in English.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if I do it subconsciously or I in my head I'm like, oh, I'd like to remember what that word is in Spanish, like, and I keep sort of saying it, and I'll say it a few times in my head when I watch it. So
No, I don't do that.
maybe you should.
Because admittedly, I watched Casa de Papel. Yeah, Money Heist. I watched it dubbed rather than watching it with subtitles. I watched it dubbed English.
I just can't watch
'Cause I like
things
to-
dubbed.
I'm not always looking at the screen when I watch
Yeah.
something. I know it sounds stupid, but anyway, I think I might just watch something I know. Vampire
The
Diaries.
Vampire Diaries. Shock horror.
In Spanish. I don't know, just an idea.
Yeah, that would be interesting. You've just watched The Vampire Diaries, so you cannot watch that again
I don't know.
this soon.
Maybe something else. Maybe I should just watch a Spanish show. I could redo Money Heist, to be fair. I never watched the ending. There's also, is it Queen of the South? I think that's in Spanish.
I'm pretty sure if you go onto Netflix, you can search like programs and films that are in different languages. Because I'll often see stuff come up and I'll think, oh, that looks good. And I'll click on it and I'll start watching it. And then it will be like in a different language. And I'm like, oh, what happened there?
Yeah.
And then I turn it off because I'm just a bit too lazy for that. Just very quickly on the topic of Mexicans.
Mexicans?
Yeah.
When were we talking about Mexicans?
The Mexican cartel. I can't remember what episode it was, but in one of the episodes we were talking about the Spanish language, and we were talking about, for some reason, I can't remember what it was, but we mentioned Mexico and Colombia and about how they're Spanish speaking countries, or maybe we worded it wrong, but someone sent us a message basically being like, girls, like, they speak Spanish in these countries.
It was meant in a nice way to kind of, because we obviously didn't sound like we knew what we were talking about.
No, but they were saying they were saying that it sounded like we thought Colombia had their own language. Just to clarify, we know that in Mexico and in Colombia they speak Spanish.
Yeah,
that's what we were
just
trying
different.
to say. but it's sort of like different
dialects. Like they're different.
Different
it's like
dialects.
Canarian. Like we lived in Lanzarote. They speak Canarian, but it is Spanish. But it's a
Yes, that was our point. But I think it came across like we thought they had their own language. But just to clarify, one of my best friends is Colombian. We're very much aware.
Who?
Kath
is Colombian.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No,
she's practically Shakira.
You mean serious?
100%. She moved back to Colombia when she was younger and forgot how to speak English. When she moved back, she couldn't speak English. She forgot how to speak English. Catherine is Colombian.
Wow.
Her mum is like
exotic.
Fully Colombian.
I never would have known.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
And she speaks Spanish, so don't worry. We are aware that they speak Spanish in those countries. Sometimes I feel like I'm going cross-eyed looking at this microphone.
Me too.
It's so close to the face that I can see it in my eye line when I'm looking at you, but it's making me go cross-eyed.
Thought my watch wasn't upside down.
No, it's not.
No, I thought it was upside down, but it's not.
It's not really possible to put your watch on upside down.
I can assure you it is.
Yeah, but it wouldn't feel natural, so immediately you'd be like, something's not right. I think mentally it's not possible. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because the class is the other way.
Yeah. So like, as you're doing it, you'll be like, oh, what's happening? So then I don't think it's possible.
Yeah. Good point.
Unless you're ambidextrous, which I like to claim I am, and you put it on the other wrist.
You do like to claim that, don't you?
That is something I claim. I don't think it's quite true, but I can write with my left hand.
There's no point in my left hand being there. Like, it is useless. It's just there to pass things to my right hand. That is literally
a great line, Hannah. That is one of your best one-liners ever. Write it down. I can't write as neatly as my right hand. It doesn't look exactly the same, but I can write with my left hand, and I eat left-handed. I can kick a ball with my left hand. I can do a few other things with my left hand.
You can kick a ball with your left hand.
That's what I said.
That is impressive. What do they call that?
My tummy. Ooh.
Why your tummy?
It was kind of cramping as I was laughing. I don't know. Weird.
I feel very claustrophobic in my glasses and my headphones and my and the microphone being so up in my grill.
I know exactly what you mean. Breathe. I know exactly how you feel when you wear a roll neck. Everything is so tucked in, and the microphone is so going so cross. Last week we mentioned that we were going to attempt to try some new recipes, and we were going to talk you guys through like new recipes we found, new recipes we tried throughout the week.
Was it last week or the week before?
Oh, it was the week before. My tummy. Oh, my tummy is cramping when I laugh.
Your tummy.
That's what Frank calls it, his tummy. I know, and sometimes I'm like, kind of ick.
Recipes, right.
We said we were going to try new ones, right? We were going to find new ones, try new ones, be a bit of health queens, and then we're going to do like a recipe of the week.
Sure.
Is that what we did? So
I have no idea. My recollection is hazy at best.
Okay, well, I think we did say that. So we didn't try any new recipes. We haven't made any new recipes. All we've eaten is Nando's wraps.
I've made my new veggies. My maple glazed veggies.
Yeah, they are good. So what we thought we'd do, seeing as all we eat is Nando's wraps and we haven't tried any new recipes, is we would bless you, as Hannah has blessed me, with the Nando's wrap recipe. And no, we are not going to start breaking out into chicken.
No, Amy, don't. Oh,
sorry. Get something else in your head. Get something else in your head. But that is the Nando's. Sounds like a Nando's wrap, but it's not.
It's the Nando's wrap. Oh my God, I didn't even think about it like that. Let us know if you listen to that song that Ed Sheeran and Example did on YouTube.
Was it Nando's
Skank? Yeah. Which, honestly, we know
So good.
to the letter. So good, but it gets stuck in your head. It was just so prevalent in our lives at one time, and it would just never go away.
Never. And we will never forget the words.
So many people don't have a clue what it is.
Okay, go right now, pause the podcast and type into YouTube Ed Sheeran Nando's Skank. I really want to say Nando's rap. Ed Sheeran Nando's Skank, and listen to it. It's the best because it's like they start off quite serious. Not serious, but like it's a proper song.
Yeah.
And it's basically like a freestyle Nando's rap, basically. It's exactly what Hannah and I do every night. But it's great. And we know all the words to it. And yeah, not a lot of people know it exists, but surely they do because it's got like millions of views. But anyway.
It's so good. Needless to say, we're Nando's fans. Right.
I'm actually not really a Nando's fan. Sorry, that came out like word vomit.
Wait, what?
Like, as in, I don't really rate like Nando's, like going to Nando's and having a Nando's. Like, it's not like...
Are you mad?
Okay, I'm not a fan, but I'm not like, if it never existed again, wouldn't be that bothered.
I'm shocked.
Really?
I'm a little bit hurt.
Are you?
Nando's. Cheeky Nando's.
No, I know what the restaurant's called. You don't need to keep saying it.
Amy,
No.
you're not British.
Huh?
You're not British.
No, I like Nando's. I think like a little bit of peri chips, the little corn on the cob, all those mushy peas, great. But like...
You never get a mark card.
I'm never going to get a Nando's black card, am I?
We literally have all Nando sauces in our fridge.
No, I love the sauces. They come
from Nando's.
But the chicken, like a butterfly chicken, and as we
So
say,
yeah, I don't eat anything other than the wraps.
The wraps is all I ever used to get,
Which is still great.
which is nice, but we can now make them better. I would
I know.
honestly prefer ours over theirs.
It's just like an experience, isn't it? You go and you have like the bottomless drinks.
I do like a little
And
bottomless
it's like
drink.
It's like going out for dinner. It's not a McDonald's, but it's not a proper restaurant. It's like in between. It's like a nice in between, really chilled. You could wear your trackies there, a bit nicer than a McDonald's or something like that. Do you know what I mean?
No, I fully know what you mean. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm not saying I wouldn't go there. I'm not saying if Nando's wanted to give me a black card that I wouldn't accept it. All I'm saying is, in terms of on my scale, it'd be relatively near the bottom.
Thank you for your input. Let's move on. The recipe is really so easy. I think this is the thing that we like about it, is it's so quick and so easy.
Mm-hmm.
And you probably have most of the ingredients just in your house anyway.
Yeah.
Apart from like wraps. You don't usually keep wraps in your house.
Yeah, but just buy a few packs
Really.
and put them in the freezer.
We put them in the freezer.
Yeah.
And then chicken, chop it up into little bite-sized pieces. And then marinate it with... Wait, no, I always say this wrong. Marinate it. I always think... I think about this every time I say this word. And I always say the wrong one. You're marinating...
Yes.
In the marinade.
Yes.
So right, marinate it in. I guess the amounts depends how much you'll make. Let's say you're making.
Depends how much chicken.
Let's say you're making one
breast. I would say 1 teaspoon.
Yeah, or maybe even a little bit less.
Yeah, or a little bit less. Yeah.
Bit of oil, normal olive oil is fine. A bit of lemon juice or lime juice. We usually have lemon juice in the house. We just use lemon.
Yeah, although we could get some lime because we could use that for drinks as well.
We could. Yeah, I think we used to have it. Oregano, paprika or smoked paprika, whatever you have.
Chili flakes.
Yeah, a few chili flakes.
Bit of salt and pepper.
I literally think that's it.
Yeah, and then just mix it all around in your bowl so it's completely coated. It will go obviously orange or red like the paprika does.
You leave it like that. I mean, we don't really leave it for any amount of time.
But if you can, leave it for like 15 mins if you can, 20 mins.
It shouldn't be like a sauce. It shouldn't be...
No.
It should just be like
dry.
Coated.
Yeah.
Heat a frying pan or like a skillet, whatever, on high heat. We take some tongs. If you don't have tongs in your kitchen, get some tongs because they're the best thing ever.
When I got these tongs, Hannah was like, why have you got these tongs?
Amy
It's so
ordered,
annoying.
like,
They
6
take
pairs
up
of
so
tongs.
much room.
And I was like...
me.
But I was like, we don't have a barbecue. What do you need tongs for? And Amy uses tongs for everything. And I was like, oh, just really useful.
So useful.
Because I don't like touching chicken with my hands.
Yeah. So when you're chopping the chicken, you can get the tongs and you can hold the chicken, slice it straight into the bowl. So
That's
easy.
another thing that we do. We use scissors to cut chicken.
Yeah.
Honestly, life-changing.
Life-changing.
I think it's because our knives are really shit.
True. Also, what I was thinking is you could also do this with tofu.
Yeah.
And it could be vegan.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like veggie or vegan.
Fango's wraps.
Fango's wraps.
So we're calling these Hando's naps.
Hando's naps.
No.
I kind of heard it and then it took me so did I to realise
To
what you
process
said.
it. Hando's wraps. We don't just chuck it in the pan. We like take the tongs and place each bit in the pan.
So like
to make
with
sure it.
a nice bit of space by each bit of chicken so they're not like touching.
Yeah.
They've got a nice room to fry.
So they're literally just frying on one side and just leave it. You don't touch it. You don't like mix it around. Just leave it. And then you turn each piece over just so they're like fried on both sides. And they just go like a bit crispy on both sides.
Yeah.
And then they're done because you cut them up small. They'll be cooked. And then you can literally fill it with anything. But
Yeah.
we do a standard lettuce, cucumber, some baby tomatoes and sweet corn. Literally just cold sweet corn
Yeah.
from the tin.
We love sweet corn. I could just eat the sweet corn with a spoon
Out of
straight
the tin.
from the tin.
Absolutely.
I love sweet corn. It's so good.
It's so good.
Also with a bit of gravy.
Yeah. We either use, as a sauce, we either do mayo.
Well, I typically only really do this way because I think this
Yeah,
way
no,
is the
I
best.
do think this way is the best as well.
But if we run out of one main key ingredient, we switch to the veganese.
So either normal mayo and then you've got the Nando's chili jam that you can just buy in the supermarket.
Which is like heaven.
Literally best thing ever.
It's really the only thing that makes the wrap kind of Nando's.
Yeah.
If we have this for a dinner, we'll often make like the peri-peri chips as well. Or sometimes we do a sweet potato fry if we're feeling spicy.
Sweet potato fries are good. Yeah. So either that combo or the Nando's vegan, or I don't know, it doesn't need to be vegan, but the peri-naise.
Yeah, I actually would be very intrigued to try the non-vegan peri-naise and see. Because the vegan peri-naise I bought for last year in Veganuary, that's how I tried it and I just loved it. So and that's the first time I tried it. So we've always just bought the vegan one. But there must be a normal one.
There must be.
Because they must have invented that. They must have created the vegan peri-naise after the normal peri-naise. So maybe we should try that.
One or the other, because like you wouldn't, I don't think you'd have the peri-naise and the chili jam. It'd be a lot because you've got like the chili flakes and the chicken and
the chicken's quite like spiced. It does give quite a big bit of flavour.
Yeah.
But the chili jam, just makes everything.
I think it's the combination of like the hot chicken, the cold with the hot. It's just it's such a good like lunch.
So that's it really, and they are honestly delicious. And the first time you try them, you'll just be like, "Well, I can't
eat anything else now." Maybe send us your photos, because we struggle with the wrapping because we always fill the wrap too much.
We need to create like the perfect amount to go in the wrap.
I know, but I always get too greedy.
We do overfill and then it just is like a big ball of like burrito and you just have to sort of... So let us know if you try it. Send us your pics. Obviously last week Hannah was having a slight, breakdown. It was a lot to handle. Insert clip here. Only joking. We had to cut the Penthouse diaries short.
Previously on the Penthouse diaries. So we worked out that they were together for a fairly long time before they had any kids, but Dad probably didn't go into it with the expectation of having kids.
Yeah. Where we've got so far is they got together when Mum was about 18, so he's not going to be thinking about kids there. He's got his own kids. He's going home to his wife every night and sitting down at the table with his two kids.
Yeah.
Before she's found out, before they've broken up.
I think he told me that he used to go away every weekend, or Lola would go away. Oh, no, what was it? I think it was like Thursday nights or something. She had something on, or he said he had something on.
Really?
And he'd go and meet Mum.
So it'd be like a once a week thing.
Yeah. And it's just like you've made things up in your head. But I think that was true. Anyway, let's fast forward a little bit, because we don't really know. She's found out. Our parents are now together. Dad's like, this is great.
Young, hot, new aerobics teacher girlfriend.
And then I guess they get married.
No, they don't get married. Mum falls pregnant with Tom We're unsure as to whether Tom was planned. I think I was the only child that was planned.
And yeah.
I think Tom was an accident. Sorry, Tom. I think Tom was an accident.
An accident's nicer than a mistake.
An accident is nicer than a mistake. They probably thought, shit, what do we do now? Dad was like, okay.
The obvious thing.
As soon as they found out she was pregnant, he was like, okay, well, I guess we just have to get married now.
Yeah, because that was the thing.
That's
that was
how
the
it
thing
was
to do, wasn't it?
That's what it was back in the day. Like, if you're having a child with someone, like, you marry them. He would have been in the mindset of, well, you get married and then you have kids. So if she's full and pregnant, he's like, shit, we got to get married.
Yeah.
So he was like to Mum, let's get married. She was like, great, like, perfect. Winning, all my dreams come true. Because she obviously wanted to get married. She was young, hadn't been married before. But I don't think he would have ever asked her had they not have.
No.
Had Mum had not fallen pregnant with Tom.
Not if he hasn't asked.
So he was kind of tricked into marriage there.
A little bit. So I don't know whether they must have had conversations about it, and I'm sure Dad said no.
Yeah. I think he was like, no, I don't want any more kids. I'm not having any more kids.
Which is sort of fair enough.
I guess that's something you have to expect if you get with an older man. Like, if you get with a man who's like
changing the nappies.
And also parenting, like, gets harder as you get older. So obviously Mum was 30 when she had Tom. So that would have made Dad 44, which is not like
crazy.
Not crazy, but he's not a spring chicken. Like, he's got to go through all of that again, all of those sleepless nights, all of those nappies, all of that. Oh, I can't go out and have a drink. Oh, we got to get a babysitter.
He was reaching the honeymoon stage where the kids go off.
Yes, exactly. His kids by this point are like late teens, like in their teens, like grown up, you know,
going off to
fending for themselves. So I think Tom was born and then they got married.
Right,
She wasn't pregnant at the wedding.
It's so weird for us now to look at our parents' wedding photo album.
Yeah.
Because we have barely seen these people in a room together, let alone kissing.
It is so foreign to us, like seeing them.
The strangest thing.
Yeah, like hugging, embracing, like kissing, being in love. Like, it's so not what's in our mind because we've never seen that. It is weird, like, when you grow up with parents who are divorced, and our parents have been divorced since we were quite young.
Pretty much our whole life. They've not been together.
Yeah, so like we just have no visual representation of like love or a couple or a happy marriage. Like, we've never seen, or
let alone those two people as well, because they're so different. They're so similar.
It's hard to imagine a life where they would have been together and we would have all been a family together.
Yeah, they're just so polar opposite, which you would think like opposites attract. Like, you bounce off one another, you bring out the best in each other. But at the same time, they have those qualities that are very similar in the worst way, like the stubbornness.
Yes.
And always having to be like right. Things like that would just make you clash. Like, you'd be a force to be reckoned with against other people, but towards each other, you're just never going to resolve anything.
Yeah,
I think it was just the age thing. I honestly think it was, because they're just in a different. Like, think where Mum is in her life, and think where Dad is in his life. Imagine them being together now. Like, it just wouldn't work.
But they wouldn't be, because they would be different people. Like, if they had grown up for the last 25 years together, like, as in grown together, and had been solidly together for the last 30 years, they'd be so similar, they'd be so in sync, they'd have so much in common. It's impossible not to when you spend 30 years with someone. Like, because they've not been together, they have gone their own separate paths, grown into their own people, and they're now not similar. But had they been together, they probably would, because it's just natural when you're with someone to, end up liking what they like. Oh, okay, we've got friends here that do this, so let's go on this holiday. Like, oh, okay, now I like that. Oh, like, that's just how it happens.
It's interesting to think, though, like, I wonder how old was Mum when they separated?
I think I was 5.
So how old was Mum?
So Mum was 34 when she had me, so 39.
I mean, you've got to feel pretty strongly that you cannot work it out with your husband, who you have 3 kids with, and you're 40, to to say, right, that's it, I'm leaving you. Because if she was still really young, she'd be like, oh, okay, fuck you. Like,
Yeah, because it's not actually that young.
It's not that young. If you want to, you know, start again. Although we say this, our dad actually found his partner at a fairly old age. So, you know, you can still find, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can still find that.
Maybe not that old, like 55.
Yeah, which is still pretty old to find your one when you probably think you're going to marry the one at like 25.
Yeah, but I don't think that's realistic anymore. Like, I think people have like...
I know, but what I'm saying is that do you think she had it in her head that, oh, it's fine, I'm going to find someone else?
I think she has said before, like, it was quite a rash, like, oh no, like, we're gonna break up.
Yeah, but like, she is like that. Our mum is very spontaneous, just like
quite like free.
I don't really know, like spontaneous. I say the word, like, and quite strong-willed.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
so they broke up after they had Tom, got married, broke up. You know, like moved out. He moved out, and then I'm pretty sure her terms of getting back together was, I want another child, like I want to have another baby.
Really?
Amy enters the chat.
And that was 4 years later.
Yeah, there's 4 years between me and my brother. Dad's like, done. Okay, I've given her a boy and a girl. Like, what more can she want?
I think she said she was on contraception and she wasn't.
Yeah, she tricked him. I don't know exactly how. Is that how? She definitely tricked him.
Yeah, but God, how glad he was when it turned out to be me. Save the best till last.
Middle child's always the best.
But I am the most similar to Dad. You and Tom are just mum. Just like wild and outgoing, and me and Dad are both like quite academic, studious, like a bit more timid, a bit more reserved. Definitely.
Yeah, but I think a lot of your like... You have so much mum though.
Well, yeah.
Than you. Whoa, you and mum are like twins. You're like the same person sometimes. Scary. I'm like exhausted.
Anyway, so that's how we came to be.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, no, I mean, at this point, our dad was 50. He was 50 when I was born, which... You know, for some dads, that's, you know, they're more than happy to have
I'm sure
a kid. But on his 5th child that he didn't ask for, you got to feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
And
it's like, for fuck's sake, another one.
And 2 of them resemble his wife that he hates. But to be fair, we all look like mum.
Yeah.
So we were saying this the other day when we went round to see...
No, I look a bit like Dad.
Yeah. We were saying this the other day when we went round to see them. Like, I wonder if he ever looks at us and thinks, God, that's just the spitting image of my ex-wife.
Yeah.
Like, my 2 girls just look like my ex-wife.
I know, it is so weird that, because I always think like the best feeling in the world must be when you have a child with the person you love and they are half you and half the man you love or woman you love. And it's like, it must just be like the nicest, most amazing thing to look at a tiny little mini human and then be half you and have your mannerisms and personality and look like you, but then also have things that the love of your life does, the person that you love does. Like, that must just be the best thing ever. But then when you get divorced or you break up...
I saw a video the other day and it was a girl, she was filming her little baby boy. That audio that goes, it's like a reward. And it was when your husband goes to work, but he gave you a mini version of him to play with all day. Or like a mini best friend to play with all day or something like that.
That's cute. When you then break up, it must be almost a bit like, I love this child so much, but they are just a constant reminder of my ex.
Yeah, and because we were raised by pretty much solely our mum,
we're
so much like her.
Yeah.
And we probably sound like her. And
yeah, but do you know what I think? He probably doesn't really remember.
No.
Like, I don't remember things my ex did 4 years ago. It's been 23 years since they got divorced. I know. Like, he probably doesn't have, like, memories ingrained in his brain. Obviously, he's going to remember some things, and some things we do, he might go, oh, that's a bit like Elaine. But I don't think it's to the point where it's like, fucking hell, get them out.
Yeah, I don't know. I just really like to... I want to ask him maybe one time.
We should ask him. But also, we don't see our dad a huge amount. We only see him like every few months, maybe like 4 times a year. every 3 months, 4 times a year.
God, that's so sad, isn't it?
When we say it out loud, it's quite bad because there's not really any
We're
reason
trying
not to.
to see him more.
Yeah. So it's probably very few and far between when something happens and he's like, oh, that's quite like, you know.
Yeah, just a weird thought.
Mm.
So yeah, like I don't ever remember our parents being together. Literally not one
Never.
memory.
I have one memory of Dad in a garden and he's like throwing me up and down.
Really, that's so nice.
And that's like the only one memory I can really remember of when I think they were together. But it's not like I can picture them.
Yeah.
I just know they were together at that time. Fast forward like 20 years, or not 20 years, probably fast forward like 15 years. We move back from Lanzarote and we're living in Surrey, whatever, go to school. I make friends with some guys in like the year above me, end up like seeing one of them, dating, whatever you want to call it, going out with. And we go to his best friend's house one day and we're just like in the garden doing whatever. And then we go into his kitchen, speaking to his parents. And the mum is just like looking at me like so weird. And she's just like, I'm really sorry, but I really recognize you. And I was like, oh, really? And she was like, do you have a brother? And I was like, yeah, older brother called Tom. And she was like, I don't believe it. She was like, we were your neighbours. They were our next door neighbours. And I was childhood friends with this guy. And 15 years later, we've come back and I've ended up in his house. And that was the exact house. The next door was where we lived.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I didn't know
mad.
that.
And that's where I have the memory because they had a parrot.
What friend was it?
It was, do you remember him? He used to cycle to the house with strawberries. His
Yeah,
best friend. Yeah,
guy.
so smiley.
The smiley guy outside
Yeah.
my form.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Outside my tutor room, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
He had lovely teeth. He had a lovely smile.
Lovely teeth. He was great. He was fit. He was
He
like
was.
he was like the best looking guy in the year above.
Yeah.
And he was like,
Yeah, I definitely fancied him as well.
yeah. And his best friend was my like childhood friend, neighbour. And that's where that memory was of Dad throwing me in the
Oh my
air.
God.
Because I think they had a parrot, and I just remember this vision of Dad throwing me up and me like giggling, and we had like a fence, and we'd always chat to them over the fence, and the Dad would always have this parrot. I think I'm right.
So
in
mad that
thinking
you remember that.
I know. That's just like the one memory I have. So weird.
Wish I had one. Well, maybe we leave it at that for Penthouse Diaries this week.
I don't think you were alive.
Thank you.
Which is why she said, do you have a brother?
Yeah, well, he was probably more...
Oh, you must have been alive, because
Obvious.
otherwise I'd have to have been 2. Yeah, maybe you were a tiny baby. I was maybe like 3, and you were like just born 1.
He probably was
Also, he
quite
was probably,
present.
and maybe he was friends with Charlie. Anyway.
Yeah. We have lots of photos for our dad's... Is it our dad's 70th? We made him a photo album of us growing up, like when he wasn't there a lot of the time, and our mum would take all these photos of us.
Photos that he didn't have.
He didn't have any of them, yeah, and he'd never get to see them. He'd never
Yeah.
get to keep them. So we made him a photo album of like us growing up, like kind of the photos that he missed. And God, when we were doing this research for this book, I was like to Mum, oh, so can I see the like family photo albums to get photos? I was like taking photos of them, sending them to Amy, like, and I'm not exaggerating when I say this, there were 19 photo albums of Thomas Bradley, Jonathan Owen. 19 big photo albums, like thick.
As in our brother, by the way. Not our dad. That's not our dad. That's our brother.
Our brother. So obviously firstborn child, well, thirdborn child for Dad, but for Mum, it's a boy. She's obsessed with him, taking pictures. It's probably that era where cameras became a thing.
Yeah.
Moving on to Amy. There's one lovely one.
Really?
Of Amy. 1. Yeah. There's one lovely one of Amy. Again, a big, thick one. But 1. So they were pretty, they thought, oh, 1's probably enough,
One's fine for her.
Like, we don't need to do 19 again. It's fine. We know what she looks like. And then you get to me, and I'm like, Mum,
where's my
albums of me? But they've just given up. They've given
You've
up
given
taking
up.
photos.
I think you don't have time. Like when you've got 2 other children.
Yeah.
And also there's only 2 years between you and I. So I would have still been terrible 2s like when you were born. So like I don't think you really have time to.
No.
Also, I think in this day and age, like when I have a baby, I don't want to do all this iPhone stuff. Like, obviously you will, but I want to get proper cameras, proper like film cameras, and take like
meaningful photos, not
really
just like
nice
a whole photo
and
stream
also,
of like your baby doing the same thing.
That's what I mean. I
we
think
can't comment on that because we don't have children, and you probably will want to do that.
No. You will obviously take loads of photos on your phone, but what I'm saying is it's not the same as like when we look back at photos of us and there's one picture of us and we're doing like the cheesiest like grin and we're like, oh, your face is kind of not quite perfect and you're maybe blinking in one, and it's like, oh, that's a real candid moment, rather than like on your iPhone you take 17 at the same time and you pick the best one, and it's like, actually,
do you know what, we still haven't had your birthday photos developed.
I know, I've got them in my drawer in there.
1 year for Amy's birthday, because I mean, what do you buy the woman that has everything?
I don't have everything.
We were going on a nice night out, just girls, so I bought her a bunch of disposable cameras and we just took photos through the night.
Yeah, totally
and
forgot.
we just still haven't had them developed.
I need to get them developed.
Well, I'll do it because that was my gift to you.
Oh, thanks. That was my birthday present.
Yeah, because they're like one snapshot, you can't see it. It's
exactly.
Just,
that's what I love.
I remember when we used to go and have our things developed.
Yeah.
You get all excited to see them.
Yeah, so nice. Actually, that's something I really want to do this year. I want to buy like a proper film camera and just start really documenting and like taking pictures of like proper candid stuff. Because of course you've got your iPhone and you've got your iCloud, but how often are you like, oh, shit, I've not got enough memory, and you're like, oh, I'll just quick delete like a few, blah blah.
Yeah. And
it's like,
how often do you go through them as well? Like,
yeah,
sometimes you go through them, but it's a bit of a chore. Like, to get out a nice photo album,
yeah,
is nice.
It's nice to
just
have like the packs of photos and just be like, oh, this is from this birthday, this is from that holiday, this, like, I just think it's much nicer to like have something to look at, especially for your children when you're older.
Yeah,
like we've got Instagram,
we love
we can
going
see
through those.
all those pictures and stuff on there. Like, I'm sure they're always going to be there. I'm sure they're not going to go anywhere.
So we'll leave it there. Thanks, diary. Sign off. How do you sign off a journal?
Love.
How do you sign off a journal?
You write like love Amy or XOXO.
Gossip Girl.
View of the week from the Penthouse. Views from the Penthouse. What is this? Oh, it's a zip. Sorry. Thought of the week, view of the week, view from the Penthouse, looking over the balcony is, why is it so awkward when you get in a lift with someone else? Like, it's always just the most awkward thing ever.
It's because you're just in a confined space with someone you don't know. You're just like right next to them, and you're both just waiting.
I always feel like when I'm in a lift with someone, when they leave or I leave, I always
say bye?
feel like I want to say bye.
Yeah. Well, in our building, sometimes people will say, hi,
have a nice day.
or something. It depends. Like, if you've had an interaction, like walking in and you've held the door open, you say thanks.
This
like,
is
if
what
you had
I mean.
some sort of interaction,
it
maybe
feels almost rude to just walk out.
Some people are just chatty and some people are just not.
Well, just before we filmed this podcast, I went down to the concierge to get my packages, which weren't even my packages. They were Joe's packages and Hannah's packages. And then when I came back in, I had all my packages in my hand. There was a guy, very tall guy, and he let me in the door, and then he let me in the second door. And I was like, oh, thank you so much. He was like, oh, don't worry, I'll get it for you, blah, blah, blah. And then he opened the lift and he was like, after you. And I was like, thank you. And I got in, and obviously he clicked his number and I clicked my number. Obviously we're always the last one.
I hate that when someone goes in first and I'm like, I have to stand in front of the door, but I know I'm always going to be getting out last.
Yeah. And it's just like, you're sort of stood there like rocking, like, what?
Well,
just
and you
silence.
can't go on your phone because you have no signal.
No signal. And then bing to his floor, the door opens. I just got this urge to be like, bye. I didn't, but I really wanted to.
I think
I felt rude.
If you'd walked into the lift and said hi, and like smiled and say hi,
yeah,
then you'd say.
But because he was getting out and I was stood there, I felt like he should have said and say bye.
Well, yeah, that's why I'm glad that we are on the top floor, because they're always going to get out first, and they're the one who should initiate.
That's what I mean. And I thought, every single time I get in a lift, it obviously, like, when you're by yourself and someone else is by themselves and you both just stand there and it's such a confined space.
Big the lift is. And also in our building, it's like, why are we not friends? Do you know? Why are we not being nice to each other? Why are we not talking to each other?
Yeah. Why are we not making friends?
In a different place, like, I don't think it's as awkward. Like, you know, when you go to Covent Garden Station and you get in that big lift with those people.
Oh, yeah, no, that's
I don't
not
find that
awkward.
awkward at all.
No, that's not awkward.
Because it's the same as like a tube.
It's just when there's one of you. It's just when there's like two of you. Just 1, 2 in a lift.
Some people think that's horny.
Horny?
Yeah, an aphrodisiac, like Grey's Anatomy.
No.
Grey's Anatomy, their whole thing they play on is that
Sex in a lift.
the lift is a horny place. Like, everyone gets in and like wants to get with each other, and like, so lifts are an aphrodisiac in the world of Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah, and also 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah,
They always
like
in the
get
lift with each other in the
That's
lift.
just it. Lifts in programs always seem to have that.
But I don't think that really happens in real life. And if it does, it's just not happening to me. Very sexy. Like in French Grey.
In French Grey.
What?
Great shop.
What happened there? In French. Start it again.
That's like that. That's like that video you showed me. What was that video?
Yes.
The spork and foon. Is that what it is?
That's the best video. She's trying to talk about her food. A spoon and a fork, and she can't get the letters. It's called spoonerism when you mix letters up, and she keeps calling them a foon and spork, and then
She says it so many
she
times.
says it so many times,
And she has like a fit.
yeah, and every time she's like, get with it, okay, my
And then she laughs at herself.
my foon and sport, and she just can't get the words, and it's so funny. I'd be down if someone was
It depends how long the lift is though, because it's got to be a long ass lift.
Gotta be
for
pretty
anything
long.
to be, you know.
so you got to
Joe
something's got
has
to be
pushed me against the wall in the lift before, but I've been like, CCTV, the concierge man is watching.
Hannah, what did we say about no sexual conversation about the people that we're with right now?
Well, that's not sexual. It was just kissy. It wasn't sexy.
It wasn't sexy. This is what I mean. It's not really sexy in real life to do that.
Can you imagine Frank doing that?
I think it's more because, like, in 50 Shades, they do it when like other people are in the lift and they're like behind.
Yeah.
But like,
Can't
if
really
it's just
remember.
you two in a lift and you're like boyfriend and girlfriend,
And then you just go and make dinner after.
yeah, it just doesn't really quite give the same sexy vibe. Also, if it's not like on film, like we're not watching it in the
Doesn't
cinema.
Well, this is why I always think in the lift that Mr. Concierge Man is listening.
Yeah, me too.
Watching, sorry.
Sometimes I get in there, like I'll have gone and picked up loads of parcels from the concierge, and then I think in my head I'm like, he's following me back on the camera.
Watching. He's watching me
go
to see if I struggle.
all the way back, because every time he's like, Amy, are you sure you can take all those parcels?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I will not be doing 2 trips.
Same. I asked my parcels and he's like, Amy's got 2. And I always go, how big are they?
Yeah. And then when I get into the building and I get in the lift, sometimes I'm like, whew, and I have to rest them on the side. And I'm like, ugh.
You can put things down in the lift.
But sometimes it takes more effort to put them down and have to pick them back up again.
Yeah.
So
And then the
in
door
your-
starts closing again, and
Yeah.
you're back on the way down, and it's all...
Once they're in your hand, it's like, stay in my hand. So then you're sort of in the lift, like, resting on the wall. And I think, sometimes I look up at the camera and I go,
Yeah, me too.
and then
I do it all the time, and I'm like looking at my face in the mirror, and I'm like, checking my teeth, and I'm looking at the camera and like,
yeah,
oh.
me too.
He knows.
Okay, it's definitely peppermint tea time.
Peppermint tea time.
I'm going to have a little bit of chocolate orange left over from Crimbo. Get the Hills on. I haven't watched the Hills in like 2 days.
No, neither have I, actually.
Weird.
Weird.
Hannah and I are both watching the Hills, but we keep like catching up with each other and then like watching a little bit together and then going off, and like one gets ahead.
We're both watching it on the same
Sometimes like
thing. So like,
I'll
I
be-
think I'm where Amy is, and I'm like, I just swear I haven't seen this, and it's because it's left off where Amy is.
Yes, that does, because we're both watching it on the same Amazon account. So like, you'll watch something, an episode, and you'll be ahead of me, and then I'll go on and I'll be like, where have I watched to? And I click on yours, and then
Yeah,
5
it
minutes,
takes
I'm
a
like-
while, and you're like,
I haven't seen any of this.
but also it's hard because you have seen
I have
it before.
seen it before, yeah.
So you're like, have I seen it this year?
Yeah. I'll be making dinner and I'll have it on like the iPad or like my laptop or something, and Hannah will be watching it like on the telly. The other day we were both at the table, both eating our dinner, both with our phones and headphones, both watching the same program, but just at different points.
God, that's so antisocial, isn't it?
So antisocial.
Okay, well,
so much fun. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for popping round. We haven't said that in a while. Thanks for popping over to the Penthouse.
thanks for listening. Hope you enjoyed this week's episode.
If you'd like to drop us a little email, we'd love to hear from you. We want to be best friends. So come and send us a little email. contact@fromthepenthouse.co.uk.
Or send us a message on Instagram or TikTok. It's just @fromthepenthouse on both. And now you can find us on YouTube. Hello, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube. Come and comment down below what your favourite part of this vlog has been. Vlog? What your favourite part of this... What is this called?
Ooh.
Podcast.
Vlogcast. Again, it's just From the Penthouse.
Okay.
That's it for this week. Have a great one.
Have a great one. We'll be back with a bang next week. And for now...
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday.